Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Talking with Jonny. That's right. This is a subsidiary of Driving with Jonny. And of course, I'm Jonny Lieberman. And this is our little Q&A show we're doing now with our new channel, Driving with Jonny. And yeah, last week I put up the first one and then I said, hey, if you have any questions, drop them down below. I also asked for some questions on Instagram, but I actually filmed this on my phone. I guess I could pull up Instagram on my laptop, but kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. Anyhow, I have figured out like sound, which for me is a huge accomplishment. But um, gonna just do one thing real quick before we get started with the questions. The video that went up last week was the Goodwood Festival of Speed. And it was a different type of video. It wasn't a car review. It was I went to the Festival of Speed. I hung out with my friend Schaefer. Again, I was a one-man band. Well, I guess with Schaefer as a two-man band, but he also was working. So I didn't really get everything I wanted to get. Like, for instance, I did get a ride with Travis Pastrana around the rally stage there. And it just, for a lot of reasons, it just didn't get filmed. And there was some footage, but I didn't get the footage in time, et cetera, et cetera. So, um, without making too many more excuses, I'm just curious. Did you like that? Like if I go to Pebble Beach or if I go to the Audrains or I go to whatever, the bridge out in the Hamptons, like, do you want to see videos like that? Let me know. Yes or no. I'm not offended either way. Like I really want the primary focus of this channel to be me driving cars and then reviewing them and making videos about driving a car, hence Driving with Jonny. But did you like it? Let me know. Also, I somehow have become a giant watch nerd, and I just have access to a lot of watches. There's a way to do another type of video on this channel, Watching with Jonny, where we would talk about watches. Of any interest, forget about it, stay in my lane, all that stuff, let me know. All right, without too much more ado, I'm sure, let's take a little hit of this here. What a great time to be a soda junkie and too fat, because they have all these wild zero sugar Dr. Peppers and 7-Ups and other things that are just awesome. Blackberry, love this flavor. I bought that with my own money, not a plug. Okay, let's see here. First question, Fry Cow. Fry Cow wants to know, what are the cars that everyone else is wrong about? Good, bad, or just plain slept on? Well, the Ferrari F80 leaps to mind. Everyone on the internet is a moron. Everyone. Yeah, that car is literally incredible. But and again, I have 2 decades of doing this professionally to fall back on. But like, try not to judge cars before you drive them. I know, crazy statement, but try not to. You just don't know, and then you'll look like a fool. And then what people have to do is they'll double down and like, well, I still think I'm right, even though like clearly all the evidence says you're wrong. Now, am I extremely lucky? Am I the extreme minority who gets to drive cars like that? I am. What you'll notice though is the people that went on the launch of the F80 are like about the most experienced drivers in the business. Like Ferrari, when they sent out the email saying like, "Hey, please come drive this," it wasn't like send anyone you want. It was like literally send your best and most experienced drivers. And I didn't watch them all, but I took a sampling and like, boy, funny how the best and most experienced drivers in the business all said the car is fantastic. So something to think about. That's all. As far as like cars that are bad that everybody loves, and it's not bad. I hate saying this, but I got so much grief for it in this M5 touring video we did with the Audi RS6. And the Audi RS6 is a lovely car. It's got a lot of power. It's great. I took one once from LA to Palm Springs. It was fantastic. However, when you get to the canyons and you start pushing it hard, as is the case with most Audis that are based on the MLB2 Evo platform, they start to really push, and the driving experience falls apart. And like, I owned an Audi that was based on the B2 Evo platform. I had a 2017 Audi A4. I want to say Crosstrek. It's not a Crosstrek. That's a Subaru. All road. I'm old and jet lagged. And that car, I didn't buy it for its limit handling, but I think something like the RS6 RS, you are buying it for its limit handling. Okay, most people aren't, but anyways, when you put them in a comparison, you do limit handling, and it's just not good enough. It's not there. Now, in the same breath, I will say a car that's so good and everyone sleeps on it, the Audi RS e-tron GT, the brand new one, the one with 912 horsepower. Literally incredible. When pushed, it just gets better and better and better. Buy that instead. Audi, make a wagon version of that instead. Just a terrific car. I've said it a zillion times. I'll say it a zillion more. But with Audis, when they have the engine almost totally in front of the front axle, the weight distribution's off, they start to push. They tried real hard on the RS6 performance with rear steer to correct that. And again, you get up to like 8/10 and it's great, and then it isn't. Just isn't. And that's life. Okay. This is more of a comment, but love to see you review interesting cars from the 80s, 90s, and aughts as well. And that statement is from Dale Ashby, 4599. Dale Ashby, and absolutely all coming, all planned. Don't worry. Just trying to get some new stuff churning through at first. I don't know why I've been doing that. Probably it's better for the algorithm or something. I don't even know what a logarithm is. But yeah, I love old cars. So absolutely. Lots of just nice comments. Glad your channel exists. That's from Car Enthusiast 99. John Nick 72. I like this content. Not too long, not too short. I'd be fine with more of it and more driving reviews. Okay, cool. Oh, this is there's a guy named I can't even pronounce this. Karakazi Brick, and he designed, that Lamborghini shirt I wear all the time. It's a Sunset Racer. He designed it for Blip Shift, and I bought it, and I still have it somehow 8 years later, 10 years later. Love it. Okay. Here is one from Biz Machiavelli. That's cool if it's like Biz Machiavelli. Good name. Let's see. Enjoying the content. In addition to the new cars, I'm waiting for review older cars. Ones that you have a strong opinion about or unique perspective on. Perfect example, F12 that you mentioned. I think it's a stunner. It is. It's gorgeous. Final Pininfarina designed Ferrari. Didn't say it wasn't that. Given it has the same signature V12 of the later generations, it was automatically awesome. I had no idea you didn't like it. Allow me to explain, and you can Google this one up. So back whenever the F12 was out, I'm going to say it was like 2014 or 15, something like that. Ferrari gave us one, and I think it was the fifth F12 that we were given, and it came with the typical at the time. It's changed, but the typical at the time Ferrari stipulation: don't weigh it, don't test it, don't compare it to any other cars, and don't put it on a racetrack. And again, I think it was the fifth one, and like, what do you again? We produce things for people to read, so the choice was like, let's take it through a McDonald's drive-through or break some rules. And so I went to Angus McKenzie, who was then the editor-in-chief. He might have been above that. I don't remember his job title, but anyway, Angus was the boss. And I said, hey, why don't we, weigh it, test it, compare it to other stuff, and put it on a racetrack? So we did. And before we did all that, we actually drove to Home Depot, and I remember Ed Lowe went and got some like big metal plates, and we found like the GPS tracker in the car because we were going to Laguna Seca with it. And this way, like, we were hoping we'd block the signal so Ferrari wouldn't realize it until we gave it back, that the car was at a racetrack. And we got these big metal plates, and we took the GPS thing and we like wedged it between the metal plates, and we wrapped it in like metal tape. Who knows if it worked? I don't know. And yeah, so we weighed it, and Ferrari said it weighed 3,500 pounds, and it weighed 4,004 pounds. So then we tested it, and it was just, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was much slower in a straight line than Ferrari said it was. And then we compared it to, I think it was like a C6 Corvette Z51 and a 1.1 Porsche 911 Carrera S, and at Laguna Seca, we gave it third place because it just wasn't that good. And I think it was, a second. I should look this up before I started, but I think it was a second slower than the Corvette around a racetrack, and it was like a 10th behind the 911, something like that. And yeah, Ferrari's pissed, and they didn't really talk to us for like 2 years. We knew that going in, and as Angus said, he said something like, "Mate, my old mentor," I can't do his accent, Peter Robinson, he was banned for life by Ferrari 3 times, so don't sweat it. I think in like 2 years, I think like that's when the Speciale came out, the 458 Speciale, and we got the invite, but we got like, you can come on the very last day of the whole thing. You'll have 10 minutes in the car. That's it. And then, yeah. And then, things people forget and things got better. Funny kicker to that story. I was in Spain right after that story went live, or right when that story went live. I think I was on a Jaguar trip, and Camisa was there. This was when Camisa still worked for Automobile. And we were having breakfast, and I knew the story went live, and I showed it to him because no one had weighed or tested a Ferrari. And Jason's extremely competitive, and like, he doesn't even respond to me. He just looks at the article on my phone and immediately grabs his phone and just begins like manically, angrily texting. 2 weeks later, maybe he was at Road and Track. He was at Road and Track. I take it back. He was at Road and Track. And 2 weeks later, there's a Road and Track story, and they weighed the car, and somehow it had lost 200 pounds in between when Motor Trend had it and when Ferrari gave it to Road and Track. How do you take 200 pounds out of a car? Airbags? I don't know. Door beams? I have no idea. But that was really funny. And then I remember when they actually had it before the story came out, I don't remember who it was. I texted someone at Road and Track. It wasn't Camisa. It was somebody else. And I said, hey, go through the nav, see if my phone's in there, because it was paired to my phone. And like, sure enough, my phone was in there. So it was the same vehicle. It just lost 200 pounds in 2 weeks. Ozempic, automotive Ozempic. All right, so that was always a fun story. Okay, enjoy the channel. Thank you, Dale Ashby 4599. This is gonna be so cool. Okay, Hey Johnny, this is Malconix. Malconix. Hey Johnny, first time caller, second time commenter. Congrats on everything. Don't congrats me yet. Okay. Okay. Johnny Boy J 1929 says, I like the talking with Johnny format. Not sure yet about driving with Johnny, and I don't know why. Well, I'm abrasive and most people don't like me. But it's early days. Keep it up, and I'm in for the ride. Okay, cool. Somebody says, Futface says, you did great on the F80 video, bro. Screw the haters. Yeah, that's my philosophy in life is screw the haters. Okay, here we got VG22, and VG says, I agree with the engine sounds and intake sounds. I prefer my car to have an amazing engine intake sound rather than having a loud, obnoxious exhaust sound. Yeah, so what I was saying was, on the last one, I was saying, look, Ferrari, and they said, we're just not going to make it loud on the outside. They definitely know how to do that, right? We're going to make it so you can hear everything on the inside, and then on the outside, we won't get the driver pulled over for sound violations. And this guy, VG22, says, like, case in point, Honda VTEC sounds, Miata intake sound. Heck, I even enjoy some of those fake sounds through the speakers. Me too. They're getting real good. Toyota Tundra, which is like a hybrid twin turbo V6, they just pipe a V8 in there. Why not? Okay, he goes on and on. But yeah, I always go back to, if you go back like, I don't know, 12 years ago, cars weren't that loud. I mean, you can modify them, but like from the factory, cars just weren't that loud. It's kind of a new thing. Like, they got everything else figured out. What more do they have left to work on? Oh, let's make it like scream. And like, I think Jaguar and Land Rover sort of led the pack on that. Just incredibly obnoxious, backfiring monstrosities, which, hey, I think they're cool too. AMG's always had great sounds. But I remember I was driving around in a 1996 Lamborghini Diablo SV, big V12, and all this, and it just wasn't loud. It sounded great, but it just wasn't screaming at you, and it wasn't screaming at other people. And I don't know, I like that. And the amount of times I've been somewhere and trying to have a conversation and like interrupted by it's usually aftermarket, some horrible aftermarket nonsense, which is like, why be that loud? I guess if you're by yourself in the canyons, it's fine, but like, man, if you're in the city or a car meet or whatever, it's just anyhow. Okay, that's my take on it. Steve Martignani. These names. Question for the next Q&A. As someone with a great deal of experience with various EVs, what's been your experience with tracking EVs and charging? I own a Hyundai Ioniq 5N and having difficulty with charging access in NorCal. Thunderhill, Sonoma, and Laguna Seca don't have on-site charging for non-Teslers. Small number of chargers in Thunderhill, mostly broken, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, very little experience with on the track. Tons of experience with driving them, but yeah, no. Until they put fast chargers at racetracks, like, it sucks. I went on the a Mission R, the Porsche Mission R thing, and I was with Reggie Watts, and we were in Spain, and they had a giant charger that Porsche brought to the track, and after every I don't know, 5 laps, they'd charge it for 10 minutes and like fully charge it because it was like this monstrous 800 volt or whatever it was charger. So until they do that, it's gonna suck. I know at Buttonwillow there's a huge, and I should go check it out. There's a huge group. My buddy Aaron's in it, where they track their Tesla Model 3 performances, and they're really like tuned up. Unplugged performance. Yeah, I'm blanking. The cars are modified. Again, they're not modifying the powertrain, but like slammed or better shocks, suspension, tires, wheels, brakes, you name it. And they have chargers there, and it works, and they have a great time, and and they're mostly faster than the other cars. So that's going to be an issue on the track for sure. G Whizbang says, "Holy Saul Rubinek." I think he's just trying to tell me I'm Jewish. I'm aware. Okay. Finkari says, "Would love to get your thoughts on ways to break into automotive journalism. As a university student in LA, I work for the school newspaper, but they don't exactly have a car section." Finn, start one. Jello Biafra. I'm revealing my old punk rock roots, but if you don't know Jello Biafra, you should. Make great music. Also, great spoken word albums. Also, funny guy. Been in a couple movies, including one of my favorites, Highway 61, which you should definitely check out. That said, Jello had this phrase, "Become the media," and just start doing it. That's what I'm doing with this channel. That's sort of what I started doing early in my career when I was at Jalopnik back in 2005. They didn't tell me what to write about. I just wrote stuff, and again, I did have that outlet, but my other advice would be is like, find an outlet you really like and say, "Hey, can I write for you? Or can I make videos for you? Or do whatever for you? I'll show up. I'll wash cars for you. I'll move cars around, whatever it takes." And you're young, so you can afford to be poor. And look, I'm sitting in my backyard of a house I bought with money I made from making videos about cars and writing about cars. However, the first 5 years I was in this business, I was poor. I made nothing. It wasn't good financially. It was good in other ways, but I really didn't make any money. I didn't make anything until I got to Motor Trend, really. The other thing is, when I was 25, so I started doing this when I was 30. That was 20 years ago. When I was 25, though, I was sort of out of a job suddenly. 9/11 happened, dot-com bubble burst. I was in software, jobless, love cars. And I knew Motor Trend was in Los Angeles, and I like cold called them and actually got through to somebody. And they gave me the best advice, which took me 5 years to follow. But they said, "Well, it's hard to start at Motor Trend because it's like a upper echelon, especially back then, type of book. But go work for a smaller magazine." And I was like so insulted, like, "Oh, how could they say no to me? I'm so great." But I could have fast forwarded my career a little bit if I would have heeded that. So I'm not saying think small, but like think attainable, right? And then work your way up. It's like, do Formula One drivers start in Formula One? No, they kart, Formula 4, 2, then 1. If they're good. If they're not good, they never get to 1, etc., etc. All right. Hope that answers that. BK 711, keep it up, buddy. Content is great. Doug 3011 says, aesthetic car walk around and talk about design. Yes. I want to do that. Make sure I do that in every video. It's tricky right now because we really like are run and gun, flying by the seat of our pants. But I really do love doing design critiques, and I have a lot of experience doing it. So I want to definitely do that. And that's for future Driving with Jonny videos. Okay, so this is Michael Sharp 81 asks, hi Jonny. In 4 years, the BA model Ford Falcon, must be Australia. It's a turbo Barra engine from Australia, becomes available for import into the US. Do you anticipate any demand in the States for this car or other ADM, Australian domestic market models, moving into the future? Love your way, work, mate. All the best. You know, I'm the wrong person to ask because I've never been to Australia. I know you guys have El Caminos, or Utes, as you call them. We call them El Caminos or car trucks or Ford Rancheros, or my car's got a venereal disease. But yes, there will be demand for those. I assume the Ford Falcon with the Barra engine is a Ute. And if it is, then yeah. Also, when stuff like those Holden Monaro GXP ZZ1s, or who knows what they were, but when those become available, because those were just the maddest cars back, and this is like 20 years ago. If you guys don't know who Sniff Petrol is, Sniff Petrol, well, he wrote all the funny bits for Top Gear. He did. Anyways, he had this wonderful site where he used to make like memes before memes were a thing. And it was like an advertisement for like, you know, the Holden Monaro GXP, blah, 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 blah. And it was just one doing a massive burnout. And the caption said, shit the fucking bed, mate. And I just still laugh about that because it was hysterical. All right. Okay. This guy, Darian Lux, says, you should start a band. Yeah, with all the free time I have. And then he says, who was your favorite band when you learned to play the bass? Started learning the bass. And I answered it here, but I don't even think it's true. When I started, it was one of those funny things. I had this group of friends when I was like 9th grade, maybe 8th grade. I think it was 9th grade. It was like Mike and Chris and maybe another Chris. I think it was 2 Chris's and a Mike. And we wanted, for no reason, because I didn't think anyone was listening to the Beatles. We just felt it was the right thing to do. We wanted to start like a Beatles cover band. And so like a total schmendrick, I went out and bought a bass with my, I think I was mowing lawns at the time, or I might've been working at a restaurant, or I was a caddy, whatever. It's blurry. And I bought a bass. It was a Memphis Precision bass for like I want to say it's like $135. It came with an amp, not a very good amp. I think that amp blew up the first time I joined another band. It blew up during the first practice, like the first song of the first practice. But anyways, first time I turned it up, basically. And I taught myself how to play Day Tripper. Bong, 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 bong. And none of the other guys ever bought a guitar, bought a drum set, learned anything, did anything, never did anything with music. And then I really liked playing bass. And again, I was probably like the dork or something. So they said, or the fat one, I can't remember. They said, you be the bass player. So I didn't even listen to the Beatles. I'm just trying to think. Like, I think I listened to like Led Zeppelin and the Grateful Dead. I just smoked a lot of pot, and I wanted to be cool and accepted, and I wanted girls to like me. So I think, like everyone else who ever started playing an instrument, like I thought if I started playing an instrument and was in a band and was really stoned, girls would like me. Didn't work out that way, but I'm still playing the bass. But I feel like at some point I was like super into like the Beastie Boys and NWA, like 80s rap, and like the Beastie Boys had just come out with like Check Your Head when I was I think I was a freshman. They came out with Paul's Boutique, 89. Yeah, so I was into Paul's Boutique, but Check Your Head was like maybe my junior year. Super into that. Then like Dead Kennedys, Jello Biafra. Pixies. I was into the Melvins, and then like I was into Nirvana before they were cool. Literally, I had Bleach before the Smells Like Teen Spirit Nevermind album came out. I was into like stuff like that, like real kind of like underground punky stuff. Operation Ivy, Green Day before they sold out, man, like all that kind of stuff. But I also kind of always was into like Anthrax and Slayer and yeah, stuff like that. Suicidal Tendencies, also the Fire Hose. A big influence of mine was this band Fire Hose. You all know Minutemen, the Minutemen, because you know the theme song to that show Jackass. Could have had a Corona or whatever. Or if I had a Corona. Well, D Boon died when I was 10, so I never got to see the Minutemen. I just wasn't that into them. I am super into them now, but at the time, Fire Hose opened up for the Beastie Boys. God, it might have been when I was in 10th grade when Check Your Head came out, because me and my buddy Andy Klein, who's still the guitar player in Strife, is my understanding, I just got my driver's license, and we drove down to the Hollywood Palladium to see the Beastie Boys, and this band Fire Hose opened up and like blew my mind. Oh, also Primus. I saw Primus open up for Anthrax and Public Enemy at Irvine Meadows back in, I don't know what year, 91, 90. And like Primus blew me away as I was learning to play bass. Like, here's this, this guy doing this, that Claypool dude. That was wild. So yeah, hope that answers your question. Let's see. Smarty Moto Photo says, I've always loved your content. Always wondered when you're going to start your own channel. Ta-da, glad you have. If you could get some tips from your videographer to make sure you don't have another F80 situation, you'll likely be in good shape. And focus on improving your audio quality. Nobody wants to hear suboptimal audio. You probably know this. Okay, so. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Looking forward to my take on the M5 Touring. It's actually, I already made a video for Motor Trend. If you watch, it was M5 Touring versus RS6. You can probably guess the winner if you've made it this far. Okay, a couple more. Canonic Games, maybe Talking with Jonny can include podcast interviews. Dude, another seat would fit right here. We're under the umbrella. Sun is shining. It's a little windy, but we got the fuzz cover. Okay. Can you also do a podcast with the Ride Also people? Sure. Whether inevitable or otherwise, yeah. Would love to know their origin and why they split off from Rivian. Okay, I don't know who this is. Was it for Rivian's benefit or their benefit? Probably for Rivian's benefit. Okay. Also, on your Inevitable podcast with RJ last year, you guys asked him about the Rivian OS being Android Automotive, but RJ said they have their own custom OS based on an Android kernel, which is really not using Android Automotive. Did he misspeak? Bro, I barely know what you just said. I just don't know. I just don't know. It's just I don't know. Sorry. Okay. Chester says one of the Lamborghini Temerario press cars be out for you to test. Through the magic of television, I am recording this one 2 days before I leave for Portugal to go drive the Temerario. So when this video goes live in 4 days, I will have already driven the Temerario. Now, when will you hear about it? I don't know. I don't know what the embargo is. I'll let you know. But yeah, so real soon, and then the cars should come to LA like 6 months after that. Patrick, McDermott, blah, 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 blah. You demand, Jonny. Any word on getting behind the wheel of the Cadillac Celestiq? Yeah, definitely doing a Celestiq video. I'm sort of waiting. We have a bunch of stuff in the can, and I just want to get through Pebble before I really start booking stuff. But you know what? I should do that. I really should. I have a bunch of Cadillacs I want to do. I really want to do the electric Escalade, the Escalade IQ. Really want to get that on video. CTSV or CTS whatever, CT5V Blackwing manual, the new one, performance, whatever they're calling it. Love to do that. And even I'd like to do the Lyric V. I'd like to check that out, like what a high performance Cadillac EV is like. I think those would all be good videos. So I'll try and get all those 4 booked. Excellent job so far. This is from PJS. I'll say this is the second to last question because just don't want to make this too long. PJS12464. These names. Excellent job so far. Thank you. I would like I'd like you to do a deeper dive into the GT3 RS. You seem to be enamored. I would love to know why. Yes, that is an incredible car. Absolutely phenomenal car. I will. I don't know if there's any press cars left, but I'll figure it out. Spike and Z have one, but it's incredible. It's a car that honestly feels like it can go sideways quicker than it can go in a straight line. It's so performance oriented, and I love being able to tweak the multiple parameters you can tweak. Everything from the dampers, including compression and rebound, but also you can change like the rear end, how it locks up, on or off throttle, a whole bunch of stuff. Super fun car. Yes. Okay, and I'm gonna say, yeah, this is the last question. Okay, this is from MXM Van. Great video. I have 2 questions. What type of questions are you looking for us to ask? All these are great. I like just talking about cars. So anything car related. I don't know if you really want to know my background, but sure. And then, how well do you think the F80 will do at the Nürburgring? That's a good question. Not that great. I don't think so. So the Nürburgring is a particularly strange track because it's the length, right? It's 13 miles, 12 point whatever miles, 20 kilometers long. And the qualifying mode of the F80, I just don't think is built for a track that long. So I don't know if you could even do a qualifying lap. I think the battery would go dead at around like 10 kilometers or something like that. If you use that boost optimization feature where you did a lap of the Nürburgring with the boost optimizer on, and then, so in other words, you weren't using the battery for the straights because you don't really need it. You're just using it to launch out of corners. Actually, I think it would do excellent in that regard. It would leave a couple tenths or seconds on the table because the battery's just not big enough. But if they made the battery bigger, it would be heavier. It wouldn't fit where it is. So it's just not designed to do a hot lap of the Nürburgring. I think you could do a very quick lap. I know that if you just left it in hybrid performance mode, it would be 6 minutes, 51 seconds easily, maybe even a bit quicker, probably quicker. I have no idea. I think we do well. I'm just saying that like there is a world in which battery technology improves. The Ferrari Forever program, they rip that 2.3 kilowatt hour battery out. They replace it with one that holds double or triple the energy that weighs the same. And that will set your fastest Nürburgring lap time ever. Thank you for watching the second episode of Talking with Jonny. I'm Jonny, doing all the talking. If you have a question for next time, drop it below. Sorry I didn't get to the Instagram questions. There was more than I realized here. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. We need your patronage. It really does help. And thank you. Catch you on the next one.